Well, hello again and welcome to another episode of the Hyperion Adventures Podcast. I'm Tom. As always, I'm with my gorgeous, wonderful, intelligent, extremely hardworking, your question-loving wife and co-host, Michelle.
Thank you, honey. Hi, everybody.
Happy 200th official Hyperion Adventures podcast episode, sweetheart.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. Thank you. And you too, sweetie.
Yeah, it's been quite a run over the last almost nearly 4 years. I got a couple more months till we reach 4 years. But
that's a crazy thought.
Yeah, this is the actual 200th official episode. We have had a few more that are kind of like bonus episodes and like our D23 Expo episodes where we did like 4 in 4 days from being out there. But what it really comes down to when we talk about official episodes, this is number 200.
Yeah, that's exciting. And we appreciate those of you who are participating by asking questions. They were great questions. I don't think there was anything too personal. That was my big concern.
Yeah, no, it wasn't anything.
They were
actually, I loved
questions.
all the questions. I thought
they were creative.
Yeah, they were really interesting questions, and I think you're going to like the questions and hopefully like some of our answers to them. I don't know. Hopefully. But I just want to reach out and tell everybody out there, it doesn't matter if you listened to us from the beginning, one of the 2 or 3 people that actually did, or if you've just picked us up within the last week. We are very happy to have you along on this journey we've been through so far through, now 200 episodes.
Yeah. You've been so supportive of us and really encouraging us, and we really appreciate it.
Yeah, so very much. You don't even know how much we appreciate it. I mean, we just, we like doing this every single week, mostly because it's just kind of a fun little hobby, a fun little get together, a little daytime date time for us on a Sunday where we like to record these things. But the fact that you are willing to, download these every week or every other week or whenever you do it and listen to us and comment and give us input and give us reviews and everything is just, it blows us away. So thank you so much.
Yeah, totally. I couldn't say it better, honey. Thank you.
Thank you. So I did mention we record these things on Sunday, and we are recording today's episode on Sunday, April 10th, 2022. Happy National Siblings Day, by the way.
Yes.
Especially to your sisters.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah, so hope you all are getting in touch with your siblings out there. I am an only child. I had some step siblings, but I'm an only child. So you just all have to be my siblings.
That's it. Everybody's adopting you.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for joining us today. In the future, you can find us most everywhere you get podcasts. However, the very best place to find us is on our own website, HyperionAdventuresPodcast.com. And while you're there,
we'd love you to join in with our subscriber group for our newsletter.
Yes. That was a long way of putting that, but yes. Please sign up for the newsletter.
That's how my brain is working. Very long line.
My brain is never working, so that's good. We really appreciate it if you sign up for the newsletter. It's just another way to be involved in the Hyperion Adventures podcast world. We get information about the show out to you a lot of times first. And sometimes we give some information out there, some links or whatever that you are the only ones to receive. But again, it's just another fun way to be involved with the show. Another great way is to follow us on social media. We're on Twitter at Hyperion Podcast, Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest at Hyperion Adventures Podcast. If you are on Facebook, come on over and join us for some good, positive Disney energy fun at our Hyperion Adventurers Facebook group.
It is an amazing group. We really appreciate those of you who have joined and want to invite others there. So whether you're listening to this podcast early on and you haven't joined in that group, we'd love to invite you to join in there or tell a friend.
Yeah, come on in. Just have some fun. Let us know what's going on in your adventurous life and share it with you. And we all have a lot of fun there. And a lot of our questions today came out of that Hyperion Adventurers Facebook group. So thanks you to everybody there for that. Also, we are on YouTube. If you want to find us there, just do a quick search for Hyperion Adventures Podcast. Hit subscribe and you'll know whenever we have a new video. And if you ever want to contact us for any reason, please hit us up at our Gmail account, HyperionAdventuresPodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah, we love to hear from you no matter what.
Yes, through all those avenues that I just talked about.
Right.
We just love to hear from you in various different ways. Now, it's not free to do this show, okay? We do have some costs associated with it, and we appreciate it if you feel like you get some value out of this show, want to support us, plus get a little swag out of it. There are a couple ways to do this. One easy way to do that is through our Spreadshirt shop, where we have a bunch of different items with various different logos and colors, sizes, all sorts of different stuff. If you want to find us there, just go to spreadshirt.com and just do a search for Hyperion Adventures podcast, and we'll come up and you can go through all those items. Also, if you go to any of our social media channels, find our Linktree account there. There's a connection there to it as well.
Yeah, and it's not, even though it's called Spreadshirt Shop, it's not just shirts.
It's not just shirts, mugs, glasses, masks.
There's tons of stuff.
I know masks are sort of going away, but you never know. All sorts of different items, no matter what you're into. Pajamas.
Yes.
We know you want to be wearing those Hyperion Adventures podcast pajamas sometime, but maybe like the Real Men Love Frozen pajamas or
There you
whatever.
go.
Something
Aprons
like that.
or,
Yeah.
like you said, mugs. There's a tons of stuff.
There's a lot of stuff there, and we get a portion of everything that is sold there. Also, you could join us by becoming a Patreon member. We have tiers starting as low as $2 per month, and if you want to join us there, it's patreon.com/Hyperion Adventures podcast. And if you sign up there, all sorts of different things that are involved with that, depending on which tier you decide on, including, of course, some more of that swag that we like to give away.
Right, and there's some other things, and there's some episode participations that you get invited to that no one else is invited to.
Yeah, Michelle has some things that she's conjuring up that's going to be going out to all those out there who have already signed up soon. And thank you for all those who have already signed up and become Patreon members Now, before we get into this week's stuff, we kind of always like to look back at the week that was, because, even if you've had a little bit of a tough week, we always find that those little gems, those little bright spots, those little moments of positivity. And we know this show, we like to be all about positivity. And we feel like there is always something to look back on that is positive. It's kind of our favorite thing from this week. And when we do this, we always start with Michelle. One, because as you know, from listening to the show, hopefully for a while, she does the best research. She definitely has the best list, and she has the best tips, but she almost always also has the best my favorite thing from this week. So Michelle, what is your favorite thing from this week?
Well, my favorite thing, it's actually not Disney related. Our son Scott had his annual physical recently, and there was some lab orders put in just to check and make sure he's doing okay. And typically the process of getting labs drawn from him is pretty traumatic to him, and definitely for my heart when I'm watching him go through that. And this time, he was impressive. He was such a trooper, put his arm out, didn't even yell ouch or anything when the needle was put in. He stayed still for all the vials that they had to draw. And so it was just great to see him not have such a terrible time with it. And plus, you could tell he was proud of himself. And that was just so fun to see that he was, really proud that he did a good job too.
Yeah, and I couldn't be there because I was actually at the doctor at the same time in a different room getting checked out and getting my own blood drawn, just because it's just nothing specific, just having a physical exam,
right.
No big deal. But so it was even that much more impressive that you didn't need me there for this to all be accomplished. But yeah, from what I understand, I didn't get to see it, but you told me he did great. Sounds like he did great, and he got rewarded with his favorite thing in the world, a pepperoni pizza that night.
Yes, he certainly deserved it. But yeah, from going from past years where we've had to really help hold him still, and not that it's like torture or tie him down or anything, but just to make sure he doesn't move during it. And this time he was totally independent. So. Yep.
Big man, big guy.
Happy. Yeah.
That's great. That's awesome.
It really made me so happy for him.
Good for him.
Yeah. What about you?
For my favorite thing from this week, originally, I am going to say what I had originally because, baseball started this week. Opening day of baseball was Thursday, I believe, and just happy to have baseball back. It was a little delayed by about a week this year because of the labor dispute that they had going on, but I'm just glad to have it back and going on. Now, I just wish we could actually watch our local team here in San Diego. We have a streaming service that we use to watch our television that unfortunately does not carry because they're in dispute with the channel that has the
Right.
Padres on them. So we won't get to watch
I
them
know.
here for right now. I'm hoping that gets corrected soon, but happy to see the Padres have started off their
Right.
season and they've won the first two of their first 3 games. And it's just glad the baseball's back, all shapes and forms.
Yeah, totally happy
But
about that.
what replaced that is my favorite thing from this week is something that I noticed today on social media. I guess there was a big announcement for the celebration of a certain video game that we love. Its 20th anniversary this week. And they announced at that there are 2 new games coming for Kingdom Hearts,
Yeah.
including Kingdom Hearts 4, continuing Sora's, Donald, Goofy's story. I couldn't be more excited. We love
I
that
know.
franchise of video games, and I can't wait for whenever it is, whether it's next year, the year after, when Kingdom Hearts comes out.
Right. Yeah. No, it's such a great game. And, if you aren't familiar with it, if you're a Disney fan, I mean, you have these characters that are actually going into storylines that relate to Disney, and it's fun whether you're going to Monstropolis or Arendelle. I
Right.
know you like seeing Frozen, and it has storylines with the characters there too. So
Yeah,
it's
they've
just
gone
a
into
nice
Halloween Town.
yeah.
and,
So
Pirates of the Caribbean.
yeah. Oh, that's a tough one. Yeah. Tough one to conquer, at least for me. But anyways, it's just fun to have that storyline and the Disney characters.
Yeah.
And so it's cool.
It's so fun. I mean, it's a cross between Final Fantasy and Disney, and it's a fun series. We've enjoyed them from the beginning, and a couple years ago, 3 came out, and we couldn't have been more excited about that. Now with 4 on the horizon, it just thrilled that they're going to continue the franchise
Right.
on. So we did get my favorite thing from one of our listeners this week. This is from Scott in Minnesota, who hit us up in our Hyperion Adventurers Facebook group. He said, my favorite thing from this week is our spring break trip to Boston. That's close to your heart, Michelle.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
We walked the Freedom Trail, went out to the end of Cape Cod up to Maine for lobster dinner, but the highlight was lunch at Cheers, although nobody yelled our names as we entered, which was a little disappointing. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. No, Boston is fun.
Yeah.
And that is a great place to go to that Cheers bar. I've been there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's
Well, I've never
cool.
been there, but I've been to Boston. Obviously, you spent some time in the Massachusetts area growing up.
Yep.
We have family that still lives in the Massachusetts area, so we've been out there a couple times. I've walked the Freedom Trail and
Right.
checked it all out. That's a long walk, but you do see some really interesting stuff when you
Right.
do it. And we obviously love Boston ourselves.
Yeah,
so.
I'm glad he got to enjoy it, and hope he had fun and safe travels.
Yeah, very cool. Very cool. So that's it. Let's move on to this week's stuff. We have lots of stuff for you this week, including we now know when a highly anticipated Epcot attraction will be opening, and there's more great news about it if you're a Walt Disney World Annual Pass holder, a DVC member, or even possibly a D23 Gold member. We'll tell you all about that. Speaking of the most magical place on earth, there's a summer hotel deal that you might be interested in if you're also a fan of Disney's streaming service. And if you love the movie Encanto like we do, and you have a trip planned to the Disneyland Resort, we have some good news for you as well. But enough about that. Let's get about us.
Oh, please.
Not that all our episodes aren't about us, but let's go ahead and get to our main topic of the week. So yes, since this is our 200th official episode, we thought we'd do something a little special this week. And yes, it's all about us, but it's also about you and what you like to know about us. We've done this for a couple years already. This is the 3rd time we'll be doing this. It's our 3rd annual Ask Us Anything show. You've said you've enjoyed that in the past, and so we've brought it back ever since because you have fun with it and we have fun with it.
Yeah. And like I said, we love the questions, but this year's questions, I think of all the years that we've done it, have been the most creative and having us think about things. So I loved them.
Yeah, we've you had some really fascinating questions out there. I've loved every one of them. Can't wait to answer them. Most of them, almost all of them. There's a couple I'm like, but I love most of them. But I'm just so glad. Again, we love interaction with this show, and this has been some fantastic interaction from you. So thank you so much, and thank you for thinking all these great questions.
Right, really appreciate it. Appreciate people participating too. Yeah. It's been fun.
So let's go ahead and get right to it. We're going to start with our great friend from the Conversation Star Wars podcast, a show you should be listening to, by the way. Charles hit us up with a really interesting question here. And he said, if you could fan cast a role using Disney characters for a non-Disney IP movie, either as a remake or a new project, what would it be? That's a fascinating question.
Yeah.
Thank you, Charles. Michelle.
Do you have one?
I cheated a little bit on mine. I think yours is probably, do you want me to start first or you want to go? Okay. So, yes, I cheated a little on mine because, look, hashtag save the Muppets. I feel like you could remake virtually any movie with the Muppets and it's going to be awesome. I actually want to see Disney do a series based on where they just maybe do truncated versions of movies where the Muppets just remake them. You know, I think that'd be a lot of fun. The Muppets do Casablanca or, you know, whatever, you know, I think it'd be hilarious. And tell me you wouldn't be watching that. I mean, it'd be so great. So I'm going to kind of go along that same route.
Okay.
And I'm just going to go ahead and recast Almost Famous, which is one of my favorite movies. Using the Muppets. I feel like Kermit would be great as the young perspective, wants to be a writer, rock writer, William Miller. You could have Miss Piggy as of course, the Band-Aid, Penny Lane, and then the band they could be following and play, basically taking the Stillwater role. Could be Dr. Teeth and the Electric Mayhem.
That would be great.
Maybe you have, as Lester Bangs, you have like Fozzie, playing Lester Bangs. You could have, there's the band manager for Stillwater or whatever. Maybe that's Gonzo.
Yeah.
And, you could, a lot of Muppets, they usually put some sort of live action in there. You want someone as William Miller's mother. Could be someone live action.
Right.
Or maybe something that you could just totally, gender switch it a little bit and recast it as Sam the Eagle or something, which is all this, it always seems like he's always the straight man. There's all this craziness going on around him. I could see him playing that role. But I think that would be a lot of fun. And
gosh, that's great.
As they go from city to city and all the craziness happens, you can add in different Muppets and different situations, and maybe you have a lot of different sort of cameos from actual celebrities. I think it would be a really, really fun movie.
Oh my God, that's not cheating at all. That's amazing. Actually, that would be so fantastic. Yeah. And I'm sure we'll probably see it on Disney Plus next year. We've seen our other ideas make it to the screen.
Always have an attorney on retainer, trying to figure those out.
Right.
Anyway, so what's yours? I want to hear yours because I know you've been really excited to talk about it.
Well, I mean, it's funny because it's morphed. I had a whole other idea up until yesterday. And then yesterday I thought, no, I think, because this is one that I was toying with as well. But anyway, so I'll just go on with it. So I would say, a remake of Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Rings with Star Wars characters.
Oh, wow. Okay, I can't wait to hear this.
So, for playing Frodo, the part of Frodo, I would put Mando, because we know he knows how to go on a quest and how to, deliver something precious. So, that's a given. For Gandalf, we figured Obi-Wan. Well, hello there. He has powers, and he also has a little mischievous or fun side, so he could fit into that as well. Playing the role of Aragorn, Qui-Gon Jinn. I mean, he's wise. He's got the hair and definitely the good looks. So, kind of fits that. Samwise, who's going to accompany Mando, could be played by BB-8. He does his best to keep everybody on track,
But BB-8 has no interest in second breakfast.
I know. But for Gollum, this one was a little harder to cast. And the one that I went with would probably be a challenge, for the producers. But I thought, Jabba the Hutt. Okay. Yeah, he wouldn't be able to be as nimble
don't think he's very sneaky behind them. He's following us. I can barely see him back there or whatever.
I just thought, though, he has that eeriness. I think it'd be kind of a hoot trying to make it with him. For Legolas, this one I would do a switch up of. I would have Ahsoka. Why not? She's loyal and great in battle, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. For Anwin, the love interest for Aragorn, I think we could cast that with Jyn Erso. She's similarly strong, independent, but has a heart. And then lastly, because I know I could go on and on, but for Pippin Took and Mary, what is it, Brady Buck, something like Brandy Buck. For those roles, I would put Lando and Jar Jar Binks.
Jar Jar.
Figuring both of those
haven't
characters.
had enough Jar Jar.
I know.
More Jar Jar,
I mean, come on. They're both characters that are so funny and could get into a lot of trouble, and a little bit of slapstick there too. So why not?
That's creative. I like it, honey.
Thank you. I don't know. I really liked your idea with the Muppets and Almost Famous.
The only thing I have a little problem with is the job. That's not going to work. Somehow that role, that's not going to work.
I know. I'm trying to remember now who was the other. I think I put Kylo Ren at first as a potential. Like I said, that one was a little tougher to cast.
Maybe maybe Salacious Crumb, the Kevokian monkey lizard, might do good as.
Yeah, I mean, size-wise and everything like that. It's just trying to look at personality, but I agree that would be a better probably choice. And
I like the idea of Jabba being. I just don't see him climbing all these mountains and sneaking around. Jabba's going to be like, done. I'm going to send somebody else to do that for me. I'm not doing this.
Possibly. Yeah. So anyway,
but I love it. Other than that, I think it's great.
Yeah, I love that question.
You got a lot of my favorite characters in there, so that's great.
Yeah. So do you want me to go next with one? Or?
Yeah. Why don't you go ahead and give us one or two next questions?
All right. So let's talk about Sue. She's from our Hyperion Adventures Facebook group. And she seems like such a sweetheart. I'm hoping to someday have a meetup with her for sure. But she put, happy 200th show, guys. Loving the podcast as always. Thank you. And she also thanked us for her birthday wishes in our last show. Her question is, of the Disney parks that you have visited, what is your favorite attraction or ride and your favorite festival, and why?
You want to start?
Sure. So, I did a favorite attraction. Although Rise of the Resistance obviously is the most impressive and immersive feeling, I would pick Web Slinger's ride.
Really?
Because there you actually are involved.
It's just because you could beat me all the time.
Well,
that's
a perk. But you're really involved in it. You're not just an observer of it. You're a participant of it. And it's such a rush, and it's just like. And in terms of favorite festivals, the Festival of the Arts, I think, is just always one that we felt was kind of like the unsung hero, though I think it's getting a lot more love over the last year or two. Yeah,
it's not as underrated as it used to be. People have kind of figured it out and now know that it's one of the best festivals. I mean, there's only 4 of them, but it ranks up there with all of them. And before it kind of would go by the wayside of like Food and Wine would go, and then people would wait till Flower and Garden, and they'd skip over Festival of the Holidays and the Festival of the Arts. But I think people have realized now it's really good, and we got to get out to it for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
For sure. So,
what about you?
Well, Rise. I mean, if I'm going to talk about modern current attractions, there's nothing like Rise of the Resistance. It's my favorite. I enjoy it every single time I've gone on it. It's a wow every time for me. I love it so very much. Classic, it's Haunted Mansion. I love the Haunted Mansion so much. I'd also love Radiator Springs Racers. I think that's one of my favorites as well. I just so many attractions that I love at Disney. As far as festivals, I like the Flower and Garden, I think, the most. I agree with you on Festival of the Arts. It's pretty close to that. But I love the topiaries. I love how the place is vibrant when the Flower and Garden Festival is going on. And, usually, especially if you hit it early in the year when it's first starting off, it's, you get that nice temperatures. It's not too chilly. It's not too warm yet.
Right.
It usually is kind of that pleasant time to be strolling around and checking everything out and just sampling some of the wonderful food and beverages while you're out there.
It's kind of like why I like the Festival of the Arts.
Yeah,
too,
I get that too.
So.
I get that too. Yeah, I agree with you on that. That's a good reason why we like it so much, is because it's pleasant to be out there walking around, because it's just that time of year when it's a little more temperate out there in Florida. So,
exactly. All right.
Very good. Why don't you go ahead and give us another question?
All right. So also from our Facebook group, Donna, who wrote in, she said, first of all, congratulations. Thank you so much, Donna. Really appreciate that. And her question is, I know you don't have a crystal ball, but if you had to guess, how long do you think it will take Epcot to finish all the current work in their future world? And what do you think will get left out from their initial announcement?
Well, I don't have a crystal ball, Donna. I wish I did. And I think that there's a lot of stuff up in the air with it. I mean, at least, we know that, Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind is getting set to reopen. I have some information about that coming up here in our Disney Stories of the week as well. So that's good. But there's a lot of stuff still way up in the air. And, a lot of that is we have some actual personal relevant knowledge of stuff going on as far as trying to get things secured for supply chain issues.
Yeah.
And, it's everywhere right now, trying to, you can't know for sure when you're going to get certain things in to be built. You can't even get necessarily workers to build things right now. So everything is way up in the air as they try and figure all this stuff out. So I wish we could say, but I just don't think we really know.
Right. I mean, obviously it's unique times, because typically, Disney can have an announcement and have a deadline that they've imposed on getting something done. And, the times have changed to where that wasn't really possible right now. And like what Tom's saying, some of the issues, I don't know if I really believe that they're going to leave things out. I just think they are probably going to postpone things. Like we've heard even in the other area of World Showcase, where like the Mary Poppins area is going to be postponed. And that, they might try to, have some things added on to, rejuvenate interest as things can become open. And so, but maybe string that along to hope, maybe consider like another anniversary, like in 5 years or something, have pretty much all of it done.
Right. It's like I said, it's just so much up in the air right now. You look at the cost of things right now, even just the cost of fuel, everything is going up. It's more expensive to get anything done. And then you can't even if you have the money to get stuff done, you can't get the stuff in necessarily to do it. So who knows? I think the one thing that may not make it, I'm still hoping it does, but is the celebration pavilion that they had announced at the D23 Expo 2019 that was going to have like the beer garden and the viewing station and everything.
Oh, I totally think that's going to happen.
I'm not sure. I believe that they're going to have a garden type area, a festival kind of area over in that space for sure, but I just don't know if they'll be able to build it up to what they originally intended it to be, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Hopefully
I would actually think that would have a priority for them.
Well, I hope so. But we'll it's all a wait and see process. Yeah. So I wish we could give you a better answer on that, Donna, but we're not in the know with Disney. It's all just kind of guessing on our part. So hoping
but
that.
Interesting question.
Yeah. And we're hoping that we like that they're getting stuff gradually done. Right. It seems like it's taken forever and it's going to take a little bit longer, but at least they're starting to get stuff done. So.
Exactly.
So. Anyway.
All right. I think you have the next question.
My next question. So this one comes from Natalie, who hit us up on Twitter. You can find her at _N Boyle, Boyle. And she said, keeping it Run Disney related.
Nice.
I love Run Disney questions. She said, what is your dream race weekend theme? Michelle, do you have an idea for that one?
I do. I've loved the Star Wars themes. But if I think it would also be fun for a new theme to really kind of evolve around Encanto. I just think there's some really unique characters that you could do cosplay with, and it's a lively theme, and so I think that would be kind of fun. What
that
about
would be
yourself?
A lot of fun. Well, first off, I want to say the first thing I want is for them to get the races back to Disneyland itself.
Right.
That is something that is. I've been desperate to have happen soon. I know that there's construction in Toontown now. There's some construction in downtown Disney, but I still think they could work around it and get the races back, figure it all out. I'd love to see that happen. And if that happens, then you can get, back to the Avengers themes.
Right.
Because unfortunately you can't do that in Florida because they have some issues with some contracts with Universal out there. So they can't do that. I mean, they could do something Guardians of the Galaxy, but they couldn't do it a full Avengers theme. I agree with you. Star Wars, love the Star Wars races, love to see them back. But as far as something brand new that maybe we haven't seen yet, or maybe they did it, maybe they did it early on before we were doing Run Disney races. But I think it would be a fantastic theme to do. Would be Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh yeah,
I think it'd be a lot of fun to get people decked out in pirate gear, running along. You can get the characters in their pirate. A lot of the stuff they wear like on Disney Cruise Lines for Pirate Night on the course doing pirates. You can even get like if you run through Galaxy's Edge, you can get Hondo out there. He's a pirate.
Yeah.
Or, he's a legitimate businessman is what he would tell you, but he's a pirate. I just think of the pirate theme would be a lot of fun.
That would be a blast. Yeah, that's a great one.
So she has some more questions here. She says, what's your favorite race you've done and what made it so memorable and magical for you? Michelle, do you have an answer for that one?
I do. I would say our very first one. You can try to research and feel like, okay, I kind of get an idea of what to expect, but until you get there and really get to feel the energy around you with all the other participants and everything, there's nothing like it. I think also we had Pixie Dust that started us out when we arrived there at the wrong time, but we had
all my fault, by the way.
But we had a fabulous cast member who saw us and realized this and hooked us up with a ride to the front line or the starting line, and then getting to run through both parks, Disneyland and Disney California Adventure Park, that is truly magical. It's in Disney California Adventure Park. They have fun messages on the cinema billboard area that, it's just kind of makes it unique to that moment that you're in a Run Disney event. The theme music is playing all around you that you can really hear. And then the other thing that just personally made it magical for me is, and this happened just by chance. It was before I realized to actually set up a playlist to have a purpose as you're running. But I was getting close to the finish line and, the song from Hercules, Go the Distance, which had perfect lyrics to, what I was experiencing at that time, just made it, unbelievably perfection. So anyways, that was mine.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. Our very first Run Disney race was very memorable because even more memories than you would normally make in that, because if and what Michelle is alluding to, and if you haven't heard us tell the story before, we almost didn't make that race because I misinterpreted what time the race began. It was our first ever Run Disney race. We'd run some 5Ks before, and I know what time those normally start. They couldn't possibly be 5 in the morning, could it? It's got to be 6 in the morning, right?
Right, and it's not like at Walt Disney World where you're taking a bus to get to. I mean, I guess if you're staying some of the off-site locations, some of them did arrange to have a bus, but for the most part, people are arriving there as they would to the park.
So we basically got near the race and noticed they were already starting the race. So we started our run early.
Right.
And luckily we had someone also come up, one of the volunteers there or whatever, came up to us with a cart and kind of rushed us to the bag. We were in the very last corral. Right. We ran the race and it all was fine, but that made it extra memorable, on top of already being, memorable for being our first race. But I also want to talk about our first and we've only run one half marathon with Disney, and that was really special. It was Star Wars, so we loved that. We loved the theme, but also just actually finishing our first half
Right.
marathon. When I got to the finish line, I was interviewed immediately afterwards for one of the Run Disney promos
so
that they've
cool.
run. That
Right.
was kind of cool too. So that was special as well. And I'm especially proud of Michelle because I had run some more longer. She had never even run a 10K before that.
Right.
She jumped up from doing 5Ks all the way to a half marathon for that weekend. So especially a big deal for Michelle
Yeah,
to make
because
it
that
through
was
that
like
race.
4 months of training. And
Yeah.
yeah. Well, thank you, honey. But yeah, that was really special, and such a sense of accomplishment. So for sure.
Yeah, for sure. So I have a couple more from Natalie.
Nice.
She said also, which do you like better, Disneyland or Walt Disney World Fantasmic? She says, I think there's a right answer here. Michelle, which one do you prefer?
I do think she's correct that there is a right answer. Well, let's just say Fantasmic at Disneyland was updated. And when you're experiencing that, you're very close to the show. Because of where the location is, you're very, very close to all the action. So I think the feelings that you get there are pretty interesting.
Yes, Disneyland all day long is the best form of Fantasmic, in my opinion. Other than that, the fact that you have to actually sit on the ground, that's the only, the sight lines aren't necessarily the best, but it is
Right.
the best version of Fantasmic
Right.
for sure.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Right.
In my opinion, in your opinion.
Yeah.
If you like Walt Disney World's better, great.
Yeah, I mean, they're both wonderful. So
Yeah.
it's just, some little things of preference that some people might have.
For sure. One more. She after this, she went and hit us up on our Facebook, our Higher Period Adventurer Facebook group. She says, "Oh, I have another one outside of what I tweeted. What rides have you had an in-show exit on, and which of those were your favorite?" I've been racking my brain over this question. You know what? I may be a unicorn. I don't think I've ever been
Right.
walked off a Disney attraction, unless it was something that I was young and I just don't remember it.
Right.
I was trying to figure one out and I don't recall one.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. And, kind of similarly, I mean, as long as I've been going to the parks and as many attractions, I've only had one actually. And same thing. I was trying to rack my brain. I was like, was there other ones that, maybe you and I were involved in, and I know that there's been times that there have been some glitches that have like either stopped rides for time and thinking, okay, any minute now, it's been a long time, so any minute now they're going to walk us off, but they didn't. The only time it ever happened to me, I was actually with Scott, is on a Winnie the Pooh ride at Walt Disney World, and that one we did have to get walked out, and it was kind of actually a fun, cool experience. I thought it was going to be this, a little upsetting for him, but it wasn't. And interestingly, at the time when the way they were doing it car by car, at first they didn't turn all the lights on. They did put more lights, but not all the lights, but it was ample lighting. So so you didn't totally lose all the, kind of the magic of the attraction.
Yeah. Interesting stuff. I've always felt like that. I've kind of missed out on when people say, "Oh, I got walked off of this attraction. I got walked off that attraction." I'm like, it's just rare, and I don't know why. It just never, that I can recall,
Right.
has never happened to
I
me.
guess
And
that's a good sign.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, we've had some funky stuff happen, like that with the Matterhorn just a few months ago, where we kind
Right.
of got in our car, we finished the Matterhorn, and we were getting ready. We thought to disembark, and then they just like, well, it's getting a little jammed up, so they just slid our whole car to the side and
Right.
let some others go by us, and then they let us go again. They slid us
Right.
back in and let us go again. That was a little weird, and different.
But yeah,
but
in a fun way.
yeah. So, what do you have next?
So Adam from the Mouse and More podcast, and you can find him on Twitter at the Mouse and More. He asked kind of a would you rather 7 nights at the Grand Californian with tickets, or a 7-night cruise out of Cape Canaveral on an itinerary you've already done? Do you want to go first?
No, you
want
go
me to
first.
Okay, so I was thinking about that. It was a great question, and I had to really ponder about it. What I concluded is I think I would say a 7-night cruise, mainly because there's more things to do during that week. Even if you've been on a former cruise, there's still fun things to do, some activities that change. Obviously, if you're doing different, trivia challenges or other, kind of things, and we know you can see the shows over and over. So that seems like it would just fill the time more with interesting things. Now, My answer would have changed if I was talking about a 3 or 4 night cruise. If we're comparing a 3 or 4 night cruise, I would pick the Grand Californian, because I just think, yes, it's a wonderful place. There's a lot to do in the parks. It's not as immersive as you are at Walt Disney World, so you're kind of in the city as well. But that's how I would answer. How about yourself?
Yeah, I mean, it's a really tough question. I think the one thing, if we were talking about something at Walt Disney World, or if it's the Grand Floridian
Right.
or something, I think that would probably be my answer. And I love the Grand Californian. I just don't know, I don't know. We've been to Disneyland so much, and Disneyland within 2, 3, 4 days tops, I think you've pretty much done everything there. It doesn't mean you can't have some good times,
Right.
just sitting
And
by the
repeat
pool,
things. Yeah.
relaxing,
do things like
enjoying other things. But we go on cruises all the time to ports we've been to many, many times.
Yes.
And sometimes we don't even get off the ship, because that's how much I guess it would matter what cabin you're in
Right,
too on a Disney
yes.
cruise. If you're on an inside cabin, that's different,
Right.
than being, or in a suite in the Grand Californian
Right, sure.
or something,
Yeah.
So but all things being equal, I think I would pick the cruise as well, just because there's
Right.
all sorts of fun stuff to do on the ship.
Right.
Enjoy the ship itself, enjoy the food. I think that I would lean towards that personally.
Yes. I mean, I think if somebody has never been to Disneyland, coming to the Grand Californian is pretty special. And, especially if you have a vehicle that you could go around and check out other sites, like of Hollywood or, Southern Cal sites. But yeah, like you're saying, just 7 days at the Grand Californian with a couple days at Disneyland might not consume as much time.
Right. If you're just talking about a trade for monetary value alone of the Grand California, because
Yes.
7 days of the Grand California with tickets, it's going to
Right.
cost you a lot more than your average 7-day cruise.
True.
I'll tell you that right now, even
Exactly.
as much as a Disney cruise going to cost.
Right.
But great question.
Yeah, great question.
I'll go here for the
Okay.
next one. This one is from Scott, who hit us up on our Hyperion Adventurers Facebook group. And he said, first of all, congrats on 200 episodes. Thank you,
Thank you.
Scott. Appreciate it. To borrow a phrase, quote, what a long, strange trip it's been, end quote. Thank you for a little Grateful Dead there. Appreciate that. So my question is a two-parter. Oh boy. Exactly how much do you guys spend on Disney related expenses annually? And it's that time of year to reevaluate our expenses. So what would you advise is an acceptable percentage of disposable income to allocate to Disney? Asking for a friend. I'll hang up and listen to your response. Well, Scott, first of all, rude.
No. Not at all.
This is really tough to talk about. One thing about what we do, and we are very boring people outside of going to Disney. We actually allocate a fair amount of our excess money to Disney. I'm not going to tell you the exact amount. I don't even know the exact amount that we spend on Disney. But here's the thing is that Michelle, how I mentioned how hard she works and how great she is and everything. She works really, really hard, and it's paid off in that we can get an excess amount of money to be able to pay for other things because of the fact that she works so darn hard and she's so darn amazing. Now, what you spend on it could be totally different than what we spend on it. We don't go out to eat a lot,
Right.
Hardly at people we are the worst people
You're
in
an
the world
amazing chef.
to speak of when you're asking, restaurant recommendations in
Right.
San Diego, because we don't do a lot of restaurants.
Right.
We occasionally, but it's fairly rare. We eat in a lot. We don't go out a lot. We just don't do a lot. We save it all up for our vacations.
Right.
We at home, we kind of just peel back, relax, stay at home. We're homebodies for the most of the part. And then when we go on vacation, we just we take what we've saved from not
Right.
going out and have a great time.
Yeah, like my brother-in-law Tom told me once a long time ago. He says you can live like a pauper and vacation like a king.
Yeah. And so we kind of go with that. So we do have, just to kind of give you an idea of what we do have an annual pass for Walt Disney World. We're DVC members. Which we have home resorts at the Riviera and at the Polynesian. We've paid those off. We have the what used to be called the Gold Pass is now, I believe, the Sorcerer's Pass, which is DVC members, kind of the Florida residence price. So it's a little less expensive than your average annual pass. For Disneyland, we have an annual pass as well, but we don't have the most expensive annual pass. We have the Enchant Key, which is a little bit down there. We get some blackout dates, so we're not spending quite as much on that. We did a Disney cruise recently. It was, during Christmas time. Normally that's a super expensive Disney cruise. We got a 40% discount because of another Disney cruise we did that just happened to happen right in the middle when the pandemic broke out. So it wasn't as bad a price for a Disney cruise as you would think. Basically is that, yes, we do spend a lot of money on Disney, but we still look for discounts where we can. We don't, like when we go and stay at Walt Disney World, we don't eat at every single spot. Like we don't eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner in the parks. We usually will eat lunch in the parks. We're usually staying in a DVC space. So we'll have breakfast there. And a lot of times we'll have dinner there as well, unless we're doing something special like Topolino's or something.
Yeah. So. I mean, we also, so in terms of our passes, like Tom said, we do have those annual passes and we typically get those every year. The cruises, we don't always do a Disney cruise. So sometimes we'll do a Disney cruise and then like another year or two later, we're doing another cruise line that is not as expensive or as elaborate as a Disney cruise. And that's just, kind of how we spend some of our vacation time. Or some of them, like Tom said, with our DVC ownership, that we go to the resorts that way. So, but it's funny because it's hard to get DVC rooms at Disneyland if you're not already with, your hotels, your home hotels is either the Grand Californian or the Disneyland. Excuse me, that's the only one.
Yeah, the only Grand Californian now. The Disneyland Hotel has one coming.
Right. Yeah. Yet. So, a lot of times we'll stay at an offsite hotel. That's, things like that.
If we do spend the night, we're within driving distance. So a lot of times we just drive up and drive back.
Yeah. And we do spend from time to time money on some artwork or whatever. But so we do like some art pieces. The majority of our artwork is Disney, but not all of it. And
a lot of it. It's a lot of it. Stuff we haven't even been able to put up on the walls yet.
But we like Wyland, there's different things too. So, but I think Tom really, really got the essence of it how he explains. I mean, we very rarely go out to dinner unless we're going with friends or something like that. Tom's an amazing chef. And so then it's lucky for me because it's wonderful food. It's restaurant quality food, but we also know what it is, its source, etc. So there's a lot of good things about that. So I think the bottom line in terms of how much is an acceptable percentage of disposable income, it would just maybe say whatever your current disposable income is for, just having great experiences with people or your family, kind of say maybe a portion of that could involve Disney.
Yeah. It's going to be an individual response for everybody and how much they want to do, I
thought it was a fun question though.
Yeah, it is a good question. A lot of people, like to buy coffee every day, from a shop, I'm not going to give a name of a shop, but you know what we're talking about here. And you go out and you get that every day. That adds up, stuff like that. We don't do that.
Right.
Things like that. We just don't. We don't spend a lot of money outside of, we live in a condo when we could probably afford a bigger house, even in California.
Yeah.
But we've decided to keep it here for now. And, that's just kind of that's been allowed us to have a little bit more money to go when we could have been putting that more into a mortgage, essentially. So
now another thing that we'll admit to is, one with reservation system, you can't just like spur the moment like we used to be able to do, spur the moment, go up to a park. But with gas prices, we are now considering times that we go because it is, it is about an hour and a half drive each way for us to go to Disneyland. So, and we don't get parking with our annual pass at Disneyland. So we do factor in that, a trip to Disneyland is going to have an initial cost without going into the park of about $40 to $50. Right. So we have kind of rethought the frequency of our trips there too.
Yeah. So basically, what's right for you is not necessarily right for us. It's not right for the next person around you. It's just, you figure it out based on how much do you want to do other things besides Disney. We decided we just pretty much want to mostly do Disney.
Right.
And so that's where we spend most of our money on. We also, by the way, we have the Disney Rewards Visa, which is another thing. If you like to do Disney a lot and you spend money on Disney a lot, you can get those rewards from that. And that paid for our entire Remy dinner on the Disney Fantasy not that long ago. So,
but there are other things that do interest us. We do have annual passes to the theater here at San Diego Theater. So, and we love movies.
Yeah, although we don't go to the movies as much as we used to. We're spending more money on streaming services than movies these days. So. But
anyways, so thank you. Thanks for that question.
Thanks for the question. I appreciate it, Scott.
Yeah.
Why don't you go ahead and go to the next question for you?
All right. Marissa, who can be found on Twitter at ThinkMickeyBlog, she says, what would your perfect day at the parks look like? Do you want to start that one?
Whew, that's a really tough one. I think
not for me.
That's good. I personally, I don't need much. I'm at the point where I like to go on a couple key attractions early in the day, and then I like to kind of peel back and eat and drink and people watch and check out some of the Disney magic that's around. Maybe go catch a nighttime spectacular somewhere from a prime spot at the end of the night, and then have a good evening. I'm very simple. I don't ask for a lot when I go to Disney. I just go out there and take what comes with the day. What about you?
Oh yeah, same for me in terms of really what makes a wonderful day. If I were to choreograph a really magnificent sounding day, I would go to Disneyland, and I would want to take a tour, not the VIP tour, but one where you actually get to hear, see, and experience
something
some
like walking steps or something.
Right. And then you can see some of the behind the scenes things and history of the park. And that would take most of the day. For dinner, I'd like to have that at Blue Bayou at a table next to the water where you're seeing the attraction from Pirates of the Caribbean. And then to add in VIP seating for Main Street Electrical Parade, which is coming back. And then end the day with fireworks from Batu. I know they're actually being shot off by the castle, but watching them over Batu as they, light up the sky over the Millennium Falcon.
Very nice. That's a much better answer than mine. No. Yeah, whatever. I just go with the flow. It's all good. I don't know. I don't know a perfect day. I don't know. You had a great answer. Good job.
Oh, thank you. All right. Is it your turn or my turn?
I guess I'll go again.
Okay.
This is from Ryan, who, by the way, is our winner of our Hyperion Adventures podcast Disney Songs Madness Tournament Bracket Challenge.
Congratulations.
He hit us up on Twitter. You can find him at W_Ryan Alexander. And he said he has two questions for us. One, top 5 must-do attractions at Disneyland and Disney California Adventure Park. Michelle, do you have a couple of them or a whole 5 for them?
I do have
6 or 7.
I was good. I kept it to 5 at Disneyland and California Adventure Park. This might be in order, but maybe not. Matterhorn for sure, because it's it's one of the original from Disneyland or not original opening day, but it's
a classic.
Classic, yes. Thank you. As I mentioned, Web Slingers is just so much fun. And you talked about this one, Radiator Springs Racers. And then the fourth one would be Haunted Mansion Holiday version, which has the Nightmare Before Christmas theming to it. And then similarly, the OG Small World that Walt actually wrote on, but at Christmas time, where they have the additions of Christmas themes kind of intermingling with the Small World song.
Good. That's a good list. That's
Thank
a good
you.
list.
What about you?
I agree with most of those. I think one main thing you want to do, because Ryan, I believe you've gone to Walt Disney World more, and maybe you haven't been to Disneyland much. So try and do the things that you can't find at Walt Disney World so much. And many of those were on your list, even if they are versions of it at Walt Disney World. They're different at Disneyland. I would throw Pirates of the Caribbean in that. It's a better version at Disneyland, in my opinion.
Yes.
So definitely check that out. Enjoy, if you're a Marvel fan at all, enjoy Avengers Campus, because just for the character interactions alone, it's the best. You can say what you want about what you think about the attractions or whatever, but they're, square foot by square foot, the amount of characters you can run into there and interact with in some way, shape, or form. I haven't seen anything better, and how they consistently are changing them all the time. It's so really cool. Cars Land, take on in all of Cars Land. All the attractions at Cars Land are interesting. I know that, the Mater Junkyard Jamboree is kind of similar to Alien Saucer Swirl or Spin or whatever it is.
Definitely better.
It's a better version.
A little more swing to it.
But the entire, just that whole land there is just so great and immersive and wonderful. So definitely do that as well. So
Space Mountain Star Wars theme.
Yeah, they're about to open up Hyperspace Mountain again.
Yes.
Pretty soon. So if that's still open while you're there, check that out if you like Space Mountain.
Yeah.
But it's just like I said, take in the differences and enjoy it for what it is. It's more compact. You can do a lot more in a day. But it's a lot of fun. You're gonna have a good time. I know Ryan he sent us an email saying he's going soon. So
nice.
He's gonna
That's cool.
enjoy that. So
happy for him.
The second part of his question was San Diego restaurant recommendations for families. We were just going over how we don't eat out a lot here in San Diego, so we don't have a lot of recommendations. But I will give you one that I can think of right off the bat, and that is that there's a restaurant that's right on the harbor, right in between where the Star of India, the San Diego Maritime Museum is, and where the USS Midway Museum is. It's the Brigantine. It's a version of the Brigantine. It's a chain restaurant, but they have one that's right on the water there. That is a great spot right on the water. They have pretty good food there.
Right.
It's a great spot right on the water. If you hit it up at the right time and the right time of year, and we know that the Disney Wonder is coming to San Diego for many more stops this year, you'll be right next to the Disney Wonder, so you can eat outside, see the Disney Wonder there. And like I said, during the day, you can take in the Maritime Museum, you can take in the USS Midway Museum. It's just a great place to walk. So I would definitely recommend that as a good space.
Yeah, and even if you're there without the Wonder, it's just such a great location. So. Yeah, very good.
I would also recommend going to Coronado. Coronado Island it's really a peninsula, but they call it an island. Is a great space for a lot of little restaurants and cafes and shops and such. And if you go over and visit the Coronado Hotel, you may remind you of something you've seen at Walt Disney World, because the Grand Floridian was taken right off of the Coronado Hotel there.
Yeah, they look identical. And it's just that whole area has a lot of neat shops and different types of restaurants that are not necessarily chain restaurants. So check all those out, and I'll see if I can come up with some more answers for you as we get closer to your trip, by the way. So thank you very much, Ryan. So next question for you, Michelle. Okay, next one for me came actually from Frank Dillo from Dillo's Diz on Twitter. He's at Frank M. Cardillo. And at Dillo's Diz, both of those on Twitter. He said, he asked, 3 best tips for a first-time Disney cruiser, #4 months away.
Yeah,
that is so exciting.
That is very exciting.
So happy to hear that you're going to get to experience a Disney cruise. That'll be fabulous for sure. And I wish we could be there, because I'd love to see it through your eyes. Love to see somebody experiencing that for the first time. And obviously there's a lot of, tips that people could give, the things that are more prominently known, like adding the app or researching what's on the ship. But just giving 3 top ones that I would say is get the kids involved in creating your door decorations before you leave. I mean, and that's assuming it's not a surprise for them. But it really helps get them geared up and get involved, and then on the ship have the fun of decorating. And you could actually have different decorations per day, on the door. It doesn't have to stay the same the whole time.
Magnets,
or
always
magnets,
by the way.
yep. Yeah. And then for yourself personally with your wife is to plan a date time. Obviously, our best recommendation would be for Palos brunch, but that can be hard to secure, especially for a first-time cruiser who, by the time you get to put in your pre-cruise reservations, it might be a little hard. But if you can't get to a because you don't want to miss the dining rotation. So if you can't secure that brunch, then maybe try something else that could be fun, which is like a drink tasting. And again, pre-cruise reservations might be a little tougher to get, but once you're on board, usually people's plans change and you can get onto one that way. And the third one, and this is kind of, cheesy, but it's just also to save time from saying everything on it, is on our website. We do have a helpful packing list that you could use. But it, hopefully you would find it useful that it could contain some things that you might not think about for a Disney cruise.
Yeah, it is a good packing list Michelle put together, and it is on our website. So
Thank
definitely
you.
Check it out.
So those are my 3 tips. Do you have 3?
I don't know if I have 3, but I do have some tips definitely involved with that. First thing is when you go on a Disney cruise, you're going to see a lot of stuff to do. Mm-hmm. Do a lot of it, but don't feel like you need to do everything, right. Except for see the shows. Go see the stage shows you don't necessarily need to see the magician or the ventriloquist, although a lot of times those guys are good. But definitely go see the stage shows, whatever they may be on board your cruise, because they are what makes entertainment sets Disney apart, and that is what sets Disney Cruise Line apart from a lot of other things that a lot of the cruise lines. I agree with you on trying to get Palo brunch. If you can't book it ahead of time, it's tough to get sometimes. Hit them up again over and over again while you're on your cruise and see if something comes available for you, because it's worth it if you can get it. Yeah, it's tough. You don't want to miss your dining rotation, but Palo dinner's not bad too.
Right.
You may want to think about it for an adult date night if you so desire to do that. I agree with you. Just in one way, shape, or form, have some adult time on a Disney cruise. Let the kids go to the Oceaneer Lab or the Oceaneer Club and enjoy themselves, and take some time at the Quiet Cove Cafe, at the Quiet Cove Pool, at Serenity Bay on Castaway Key. Take that and use it and have some good quality adult time while you're on that cruise as well. Of course, it's all about family, but a good couple hours to go sit and just having a quiet time by the pool is always enjoyable as well. Yeah, and good. This isn't going to be a fun thing, but I need to put this out as someone who themselves suffers from motion sickness. Like, I can't do certain attractions because I suffer from motion sickness, or I don't enjoy them as much as others because of that. And so that could come into play with Disney Cruise. But I rarely have problems with a cruise because I've kind of figured it out. First thing, ask your doctor about it, because they're going to give you the best possible response to it. But I'll tell you what I do, and that is I take what's called meclizine, which is basically Bonine. And I take that throughout the cruise, usually once in the morning, once in the evenings before I go to dinner, just to make sure it's all good. I don't want to go to dinner and suddenly get seasick.
Right.
And I start it a good couple days before, so it's in the system before you get on your ship, because the last thing you want to do is wait until you start feeling it and then put it, because it just won't help you for a while after that. So get it into your system for a few days. It also lets your system adjust to it a little bit, because it can, sometimes they can make you a little drowsy or whatever. So if your system is adjusted to it, you're better off. And that's a good way for me, that's how it works for me personally. Now, like I said, everybody's different. Their level's different. Some people, even who deal with motion sickness, will get on the ship and not even notice the movement. So it's just what's up to your personal preference.
Right. Exactly.
So
good tips. Babe.
Those would be my tips.
All right, I like it.
So I'll get to my next one, which actually is it's a sports one, which I like.
Yeah,
I'm a sports fan. This one's from Doug, who hit us up on our Hyperion Adventurers Facebook group, and he said, thoughts on Padres playoff chances after acquiring Sean Manaea from my beloved Oakland Athletics. It only makes sense with Melvin there as the head coach manager. Wishing you all the best. Bob Melvin, who used to be the A's manager, is now the manager of the Padres. And they just, right before the season started, acquired this pitcher from the Oakland A's who pitched really well the other night. He struck out 7, didn't allow a hit in 7 innings. Yeah, it was a great pitch. Great start. So here's what I think on the Padres playoff chances this year. I think that their pitching staff, top to bottom, stacks up with virtually anybody in baseball right now. I don't think that they have as high a top end as some pitching rotations do, like they're 1-2 guys, but they're like 4 or 5 guys are better than most pitching staffs that are out there, and they have some depth even in the minor leagues. Mike Clevenger, who, is this great pitcher who's just still recovering from surgery, is getting set to come back this year. He's not even pitching yet on this team. If you add him to the rotation, going to be even better. They may suffer a little bit right now in the lineup as far as their offense. Fernando Tatis Jr. out for 2-3 months here still, recovering from some wrist surgery, so he won't be back till June or July. And who knows, how long it'll take him to get back once he does get up healthy enough to play. That hurts. So there's a lot in play here. I think that they're going to be a good team. I think that they're a borderline playoff team, especially with the expanded playoffs they have this year now, starting after the labor agreement. So that's good. I don't think they completely compete with the Dodgers. I still think the Dodgers are the premier team in the National League West, maybe in the National League completely. But they're going to be good, and they're exciting, and they're going to be fun, and I'm excited to watch the Padres this year.
Yeah, I totally agree. I would have said the same thing.
I know you would have.
I do love baseball, but I'm not as knowledgeable as Tom, and so I was happy to be able to defer to him for the responses here. So good job, honey.
Thanks. Excited for what's to come. I'm sorry about your Oakland Athletics. I know that they're peeling off a lot of players. I hope they they've done it in the past where they've let players go and they've, got some prospects in and turned them around and been able to make things happen. Oakland's been famous for that. Right. So I hope your A's do that for you this year. Thank you again for the email, Doug. From the Hyperion Adventures Facebook group, Doug. Moving on, we have one final question. Actually, it's a slew of questions from Tony, the Disney dad. He hit us up with an email. And first of all, he said, congrats on 200 regular episodes. What an achievement.
Thank you.
He said, thanks for making great content each and every week that my whole family can enjoy. You're very welcome, Tony, and thank you for the congratulations. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely. And, you're such a numero uno in our book, and so we really appreciate the encouragement.
So, Michelle, why don't we start off with the first few questions that he asked us here. He said it's a top 5 list.
Yeah.
You know what that means in the Hyperion Adventures podcast world. What you got there, Michelle?
Okay, so his first question is, what are your top items on your Disney bucket list? So it's not necessarily top 5 on our Disney, but he gave us 5 questions. Sorry if I confused everybody there. But anyways, question number 1, what are the top items on your Disney bucket list? Do you want me to go first?
Yeah, why don't you go ahead and go first?
All right. I put 2 of them, and one of them we're actually going to hopefully get to do this year. The first one is have a stay at one of the cabins of Copper Creek. Those things look amazing.
We're going to do that this year?
No, the next one is.
Okay. Like, wow, I didn't know we had the points for that, but okay.
No, it's the next one that if we can secure it is to have dinner at Enchanté on the Disney Wish. Mm-hmm. Disney's newest cruise ship that's launching this summer, and we have fall reservations. So hopefully we'll be able to get a reservation to have dinner there.
Hopefully we have enough Disney Reward Visa points to pay for that
right,
dinner there,
exactly.
like we did for Remy. So,
exactly.
Yeah,
so what is your top item or items for your Disney bucket list?
Well, first of all, it's to get to all the Asian parks. I want to go see the Asian parks at some point. I don't know how we're going to do it or when it's going to happen, and how many trips it will take for us to get to see them. But definitely I want to get to all the Disney parks at some point in our lifetime. Sure. I want to see them all and see this what's the same, what's different, experience the culture around it, and just enjoy them all. I'd love to do the Adventures by Disney Galapagos or the Antarctica sailings, trips that they have. I think those would be fascinating
True.
to check out. Or maybe one of the safaris, because I know Adventures by Disney does the safaris too in Africa. That might be kind of fun.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
Those may be more pie in the sky than some of the other ones, but those would be big. I think that's it. I mean, there's a lot of stuff I could add. There's a lot of stuff, that I'd really love to do. Some of the, even though it's not necessarily Disney, like the Jedi Master package at Star Wars Celebration, something like that, where you're just, walking into all the panels that you want to see and all this stuff, and something like that would be fun too. So, a lot of stuff. Cool. So let's get to the next question.
Okay. Question number 2 is, if you had one ride for 12 hours straight, what ride would it be and why? He said you can each pick one from Disney World and Disneyland.
All right. I'll start.
Yep.
I think the only thing I could do for 12 hours straight would be to kick it in the People Mover. I could relax in the People Mover because, one, it's just relaxing ride, but there's so many different views, and it constantly, because I mentioned earlier, I love people watching.
Right.
It would constantly be changing and watching the people as you're going around. It wouldn't be strenuous. It wouldn't be like a thrill ride. So it wouldn't be. I think it's one of the few I think I could do for 12 hours straight. What about you?
True. I actually have one that is at both Walt Disney World and Disneyland, so I figured that would probably be the easiest one to pick, and that would be Midway Mania. Similar to you, I mean, I could do that over and over and not.
My arm would get so tired.
That's true. But at least it's like not getting motion sickness or whatever. And I could really practice to become an expert.
Yeah.
So.
I guess the other one that we could do, at least once it opens up at Walt Disney World again, is the Walt Disney Railroad. I could do that for 12 hours as well.
Right.
But it has to be something simple that the things will change at least a little bit if you're going to be on it for 12 hours, and so you get different views. And it's, again, it's not jarring to me. I already mentioned I suffer from motion sickness. If I was to do something that has too much motion in it over for 12 hours, it might be a big problem.
True. So, could do the monorail back and forth from Ticket Transportation to Epcot.
That loop.
Yeah. So great question.
I mean, I guess I could take the boats, to and from the transportation. I like being out in the boats on the lakes. That's always fun too.
That's true. So
very good.
All right.
And you have another one.
I have, another one. Number 3 is, what attraction would you love to see made into a movie or series that hasn't already been made into?
What are your thoughts on that one?
The Matterhorn.
Oh, the Matterhorn. Oh, that's a good one.
Because I thought that could go kind of in so many different directions, whether it's trying to, be on a little bit more of a serious or documentary style kind of thing of, where the Matterhorns are actually located, or if it wanted to just be something, kind of funny or cheesy about the actual Matterhorn and the Yeti and stuff like that. Or
That's
it's not
cool.
Yeti, it's the abominable.
Yeah. Abominable snowman.
Yes.
Not adorable snowman.
No.
The abominable snowman.
Right.
I can say it.
Yes.
So.
What about you?
I've been thinking about this, and I think that, and I've actually brought this up a long time ago as something that I thought would be an interesting choice, and that would be something, maybe a series based on the Carousel of Progress. Ooh. And it could be something kind of like Quantum Leap-ish, / Back to the Future, where they're constantly, the whole family, the Progress family are going through time, and they're constantly adapting to how things have changed when they these times, and then but there's some sort of thing that they have to solve there.
Right.
Then they flash to another time or whatever.
Wow.
And they kind of, the way you kind of go through, everything changing within the Carousel of Progress.
Right.
You can kind of do that with the Progress family.
That's
and some sort
interesting.
Of thing, so.
Yeah. I love that. Love your answer, honey.
Thanks.
Yeah.
So.
All right. I think you have the other two, the other few questions that he has.
Other 2 plus 1, because it is Hyperion Adventures podcast from Tony. Yes. His 4th was, what movie / series would you love to see made into an attraction? Michelle, do you have an answer for that one?
I do. I would, I'm making it sound like it was the first thing that came to my mind, but I really struggled over this. But to limit it to one, I picked The Mandalorian. I think that would kind of be a fun attraction to have different types of experiences through and see different characters, because there's just so many rich characters that came out of that series.
Nice. Nice. I love that.
Ooh,
Love
thanks.
that.
What about you?
For me, it's all about Encanto right now. I think we need Encanto in the parks. I would love to see, we've been talking about it for a while that maybe there needs to be another pavilion within World Showcase. And I've mentioned before in the past that, there's not really a lot of South American presence
Right.
there. Virtually every other country has some sort of
North
presence
of the equator.
within, even Africa is
Right.
in there with Morocco.
True. Yeah.
And there's just not really much. And I always thought it was going to be Brazil, and Rio or something along those lines.
Right.
But now with the success of Encanto and how it's become, they're saying it's going to be a franchise.
Right.
Maybe you have Colombia there,
Right.
in a land, and open that up, and then you can have some sort of like the La Casita,
Right.
walking or doing a dark ride through the Madrigal house. And
Yeah,
how fun that would be.
True.
So I'm sold on that right now.
That's a great idea.
I think we need I've been sold for a while that we need South America within World Showcase, and now I've shifted from Brazil to Colombia,
Right.
because of the fact that Encanto has done so well.
Excellent answer.
So his fifth question is, which land is your favorite and why in Walt Disney World's Magic Kingdom and Disneyland? Michelle, do you have an answer for that one?
I do. So I would say at Disneyland, it would be actually Galaxy's Edge, which is in Disneyland, in the Magic Kingdom here at Disneyland. So I love the atmosphere and the food, obviously. And then the greatest part, too, is when you walk out, you're still at Disneyland. So that's a pretty win-win-win all the way around. And at Walt Disney World, my favorite land at Magic Kingdom would be Adventureland. I think it has the nostalgic attractions and definitely one of our favorite restaurants there. So that would be mine. What about for you?
For me, so at Disneyland, I agree with you on Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. Love it, but I discounted it because you can also find it at Disney's Hollywood Studios at Walt Disney World.
True.
So I took it out of the equation. I went with something that's only at Disneyland, and that is New Orleans Square at Disneyland, because I think the theming there is spot on.
Right.
It's beautiful. It's really great. Plus, you have two of the best classic Disney attractions right there within it,
Yes.
in Haunted Mansion and Pirates of the Caribbean.
Right.
I love that little area of the park. I think it's fascinating. They leave the decorations up through the holidays into Mardi Gras. It looks spectacular.
Yes.
I love that spot personally.
That's a good one.
At over at Magic Kingdom, probably my favorite spot is Frontierland there. It's got the Country Bears in it, which we don't have at Disneyland anymore.
Right.
So I kind of like getting to go see that more. Still it has Big Thunder as
Right.
well there. Like, we enjoy Big Thunder a lot. I almost want to do Liberty Square, except for that it just needs a little more to me. It's got the Haunted Mansion, which I love, and I just love hanging out in Liberty Square.
Right.
But it just needs, the Hall of Presidents, okay, fine.
Yeah.
But it just needs something more. If the Muppets were to come back and do their show there again, I might have said Liberty Square. But for now, I'm going to go with Frontierland.
Yeah. No, that's a good one. I had struggled with Disneyland because I actually wanted to say Tomorrowland. I think it has, that's where Star Tours is. Their Autopia is really great.
Much better than Tomorrowland Speedway.
Right. It's longer and more interesting turns and things like that. It
has the submarines
there. Yeah. So, I mean, that kind of, that's like if I were to do an A and B, that's what I would have picked.
I see it. I mean, they still need I don't think it needs it as badly as Magic Kingdom's Tomorrowland, but they both still need some refurbishments and updates, but I know what you're saying.
Yeah. So.
Finally, his final question is, why are Michelle's lists the best lists? I've already explained it. She's awesome. All things great in the world. She's just the best. So she has the best of everything.
Oh, you're just so sweet. My answer to that is they're not really the best.
Totally.
But I will say that
she's also the most humble.
No, I do always try to give my very best. And I like to be thoughtful of, what I think, the listeners would really want, and, definitely to pour my passion into the episode. So,
and you do, for sure. That's why you do the best research too, and that's why you have the best list, and that's why you definitely have the best tips.
You're sweet. Thank you.
And she's also the most humble. But thank you, Tony.
Yeah.
He went on to say, congrats again, and here's to 2,000 more episodes. Thank you, Tony.
So sweet. Love the wonderful feedback and the encouragement for us.
And so that's it for our questions and answers, our Ask Us Anything episode.
Wow.
We had a lot of questions, a lot of great questions. We've run really long on it, but that's because your questions were so darn good.
Exactly. And we really appreciate everybody's participation in it. So,
and even though this was the Ask Us Anything episode, if you ever have questions for us, we are always happy to answer them.
Right.
Hit us up on social media. Hit us up through the Gmail account. We are happy to take your questions any time of year.
Yes. We love interacting with you.
Yes. So thank you again. Thanks, everybody. So much fun, so many wonderful, tough questions, but really, really inventive questions. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, that's like I said at the beginning, it was just really creative and made us think, and fun questions.
Fun questions. Fun time for our 200th episode. But we went really long answering those questions. So let's go ahead and quickly run through our Disney stories of the week. And I'm going to start with, we now know officially when a highly anticipated Epcot attraction will be opening. And there's more great news about it if you're a Walt Disney World Annual Pass holder, a DVC member, or even possibly a D23 Gold member. This from the Disney Parks blog. They said, well, plant me in the ground and call me Groot, because Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind is set to officially debut on May 27th at Epcot. Yay! We went ahead, that day I went ahead and made us a park reservation for May 27th, just in case. Hoping to get there a little earlier, though. And I'll talk about that here, because better yet, there are chances to get a preview of this exciting family-friendly coaster for Walt Disney World Annual Pass holders and DVC members. We haven't received the dates for those yet, but we have received an email telling us to keep an eye on our inboxes for another email so you can register soon. So that is coming soon for if you are a DVC member or if you are a Walt Disney World Annual Pass holder. Your chance is coming to get a preview of that attraction.
So that's exciting. Yeah. It's thrilling that it's coming finally. It's, seems like a long time, but to have that opportunity will be great. Yeah.
Looks really cool. So one thing we do have a date for, though, involving an early opportunity to check out Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind, is something special for D23 Gold members. This from D23.com. They say, take off on an intergalactic chase through space and time as D23, the official Disney fan club, invites you to be among the first to experience the all-new attraction, Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind. Not only will D23 Gold members be able to experience the attraction before opening day, but this event includes even more magic so you can make the most of the Walt Disney World 50th anniversary celebration. Now, there's a lot of things involved in this, and actually the price isn't that bad. A lot of times when they do one of these, it's like, okay, but it's $250 per guest. It's not that for this. You may be interested in this if you're a D23 Gold member. They say, first off, you'll check in at the main entrance where you'll receive your complimentary after 4 p.m. park admission and a commemorative credential. You'll have some free time to stroll around and sample the Epcot International Flower and Garden Festival with a $20 dining card. After the sun has set, we'll gather around World Showcase Lagoon for a reserved viewing of the nighttime spectacular Harmonious. Then as the park closes, the exciting moment arrives as we invite you to make your way to the new World Discovery neighborhood, where you'll embark on an all-new journey in the wonders of Xandar Pavilion. And yes, ride Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind.
That's so cool.
Yeah, that's a lot for that. The price is actually just $35 per guest plus a $5 processing fee. You can only do 2 guests for this one because of the fact that they expect it to be, a lot of people are going to want to do this, especially for that price. I mean, you're getting parking, you're getting park admission late in the day. You're getting a $20 gift card, which takes up a portion of that. You're going to get a reserved viewing area for Harmonious, and you're going to get to ride this attraction early. I think that's actually a steal, for $40. That's crazy.
And that is amazing that it's only that, and there's just something fun too to experience an attraction after the park is closed, which you can do. You've been able to do that in the past, like with the Frozen Ever After, where you have the dessert party and things like that. It's just a fun thing to do.
It is fun. And then you kind of, when we did that,
right,
we had the great seating for, what was it? Epcot.
Forever.
Mm-hmm. And then after you sit there and you have some food and some drinks and you watch the show, and then they escort you over there, and then you walk out of the park afterwards and there's like no one in the park.
Right.
It's great.
So special.
So fun. So definitely. That's something I'm thinking about us doing. We'll have to see.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on to the next story. There's a new Walt Disney World hotel deal that might be of interest to you if you're also a fan of Disney's streaming service. Again, we go to the Disney Parks blog. They say, for the first time, Disney Plus subscribers can save on stays at select Walt Disney World Resort hotels most nights from July 8th through September 30th, 2022. The discounts are up to 25% savings for stays at select Disney Deluxe and Deluxe Villa resorts, lower savings for lower resorts, but that's a great deal if you are a Disney Plus subscriber.
Right, yeah, it's pretty cool. And, especially towards the end of that time when it's a little less crowded in August, especially, it's a great thing to experience.
Yeah, you might want to look into that and see if that deal works for you. For more information on it, including how to make sure your Disney Plus subscription is linked to your My Disney Experience account, which you'll need in order to book it, just go to disneyworld.com/Disney Plus. But that's a great deal. Again, it's 25%. That's if you're going for the high-end place. There are other resorts, the moderates or whatever, that you're going to get maybe 15%. Don't quote me on that, but something like that off of it. But still, a hotel deal is a hotel deal.
Yeah, exactly.
Finally, if you love the movie Encanto like we do and you have a trip planned for the Disneyland Resort, we have some good news for you. Again, one more time to the Disney Parks blog. They said, soon you can gather with your family and friends this spring at Disneyland Park to celebrate the joy and wonder of Disney Animation's newest classic, Encanto. For a limited time, beginning tomorrow, actually, April 11th, the iconic facade of It's a Small World becomes enchanted. That's hilarious.
Yes.
Several times each evening with a brief visual montage that pays tribute to the movie's hit song, We Don't Talk About Bruno, no. This musical delight comes to life through projection and lighting effects and an artistic style inspired by the lyrics, with select moments that feature characters from the film. Like the Madrigal's family casita, tiles across the It's a Small World facade flip, turn, and rearrange themselves as one scene transitions to the next, culminating in a celebratory chorus and a nod to Bruno's mysterious prophecy about Mirabelle. I love that.
Yeah, that'll be so cool to see.
Their projection shows are always so good.
Yes, they are.
That's going to be excellent as well.
Mm-hmm.
Also, you'll be able to meet Mirabelle at the Frontierland Zocalo Park there. She'll be there as well. And coming on April 22nd, we already heard about this, but just to refresh your memory, the Main Street Electrical Parade has some new floats added to it, including one that is all dedicated to Encanto. So great Encanto stuff coming to Disneyland very, very soon. That's good stuff. Glad to see Encanto getting more and more into the parks.
And quickly.
Yeah. As it should, because it's been extremely popular. So that's it for the Disney stories of the week. However, we never leave you without giving you some sort of tip that might help you on your next vacation. And when we do this, we always start with Michelle because, well, you already know. She's great at everything, but she definitely has the very best tips. Here is Michelle's tip of the week.
Oh, man, you're funny. Okay, so I'm going to try to make this quick because we had a very long episode. But this is in relationship to if you want to make Disney reservations farther out in advance than what's online. And I think right now they're doing it about a year in advance online. Anyways, if you're looking for something that's further out, let's say you're planning a special family get together or a celebration of some achievement and you want to start looking at some things right now or securing something in particular right now, you can call guest relations, and we'll put the phone number in the show notes, but up to 499 days in advance of your arrival date, you can make a room-only reservation through guest relations. And that way you can at least secure the resort that you're interested in. And then later on, once the package, if you're really interested in a package, once those rates come into play and are available online, then you can convert that room-only reservation to a package, so you can include theme park tickets. So, you don't have to feel like just because it's not available online that you have to wait, to that 1 year or whatever their exact date is. You can do some further out through calling guest relations. And I can, the phone number is 407-939-1289. And as I mentioned, we'll put it in the show notes.
Yeah, just to make sure you have it there for you easily.
Yeah.
So you can find it. So.
But another way that you can at least secure something and then, make some changes later on to add the packages.
Very nice. Great tip. Michelle's tip.
Thank you.
Always the best tip. Yeah, especially good because it actually kind of leads into my tip as well.
Ooh.
And that's because, look, we just talked about that there's a special room discount package if you're a Disney Plus subscriber. So, that could come into play for you. But however, let's just say, because you may be making your hotel reservations in advance, well in advance, maybe you've already made your hotel selection and your reservation. And, hey, how can I take advantage of this discount, or I missed out on this discount? Well, that's not necessarily true. You can possibly change your hotel reservation to include this discount. And it's actually not that difficult to do as long as you have your deal. Of course, obviously staying in a Disney resort, and it's attached to your My Disney Experience account, which it should be. Just go to the My Disney Experience app and then check the My Plans portion of it. You'll find your resort stay there, and there should be a link there that says change, where you want to change something within that. It'll lead you to, if you click that change link, it'll lead you to other options for your resort, for your rooms that are available for you. If the discount you're looking for is available for you for the room that you like, for the resort that you like, you can look at it, see if it's better, click on it, boom, changed. That new rate is what your rate will be going on forward. However, some of these discounts, they apply to different resorts, sometimes different rooms too. So keep that in mind. You may want to go in there and check on it, have an idea of what your original rate was, look at it, see if it's better. Maybe, you like a particular room. Maybe you like a particular resort. You don't mind paying a little bit more for it. Then you might want to stay with it. If you don't mind switching around a little bit, then, go ahead and do that. Find what's best for you, and you can change your selections up until not that far ahead of your actual trip if you need to. So take advantage of it when these discounts drop, because this isn't the only discount that's going to drop depending on how far, you're out there. They drop these things fairly regularly. They come up.
Exactly.
So that's it for this week. Next week, well, it's going to be Easter when we're recording.
Yes.
So we hope you're having a good, happy Easter week. What a better way to celebrate that day than with Easter eggs. I'm not talking about the hard-boiled and decorated kind, although, we kind of like those too. Now we're talking about the various Disney Easter eggs that can be found in the movies.
Yeah. So that'll be fun.
Yeah. So we're going to go through and pick out some fun Easter eggs in various Disney movies that maybe you've seen, maybe you haven't, and you want to go back and watch and check them out.
Exactly.
So that'll be a lot of fun next week. So as for today's show, we appreciate that you joined us today. In the future, you can find us most everywhere you get podcasts. However, the very best place to find us is on our own website, HyperionAdventuresPodcast.com. And while you're there,
please sign up for our newsletter.
Please sign up for the newsletter. Just another way to be involved in the Hyperion Adventures podcast world. Other great ways is to follow us on social media. We're on Twitter at Hyperion Podcast, Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest at Hyperion Adventures Podcast. If you are on Facebook, come on over, join us in the Hyperion Adventurers Facebook group.
Yeah, it's a great group that we really enjoy celebrating everybody's fun. And if you're not on it, please join. If you are, please invite somebody.
Yep, just a great space for some good, positive Disney energy fun. Also, we are on YouTube. If you want to find us there, just do a quick search for Hyperion Adventures Podcast. Hit subscribe. You'll know whenever you have a new video. And if you ever want to contact us for any reason, please hit us up at our Gmail account, HyperionAdventuresPodcast@gmail.com.
Yes, you can drop us a line for anything.
Anything, just to say hi, whatever you want. We appreciate being in contact with you in all these different platforms in any way you prefer. So
For sure.
So that's it. Thank you for listening to another episode of the Hyperion Adventures podcast. We look forward to sharing some time with you again next week. Until that time, I'm Tom.
I'm Michelle.
And we hope that you have a magical week.
Bye.